Hey guys, what is up? My name is Dave, and as you guys probably saw pretty recently on my channel, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are new to my channel and came here because of this video, there's a new method for Saradomin that I tried out, which was essentially tanking Saradomin. Now, in the method that you guys saw in the other video, I actually, which if you haven't seen, I'll leave you a link right now on the screen, we actually tried just having one person tank. And although that method was very effective and was still faster than the Varicking method, this is the newer method that we tried, and it actually works a lot better. So basically, I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown. I'm going to show you guys some VODs from the stream that we tried out, so there's going to be face cam, but don't worry, I'm going to be dubbing over it and everything like that and slowing it down and explaining it to you guys. And I'm going to go over all of the gear and everything like that if you guys are interested in trying this method. Now I'm going to say ahead of time, this does require very high-end gear. No, the Ellie is not required. Don't worry, you do not need an Elysian for this method. I would not make a video if you needed an Elysian for it to work. So, I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'm going to start off by covering the gear. Before I get too into talking about the gear, I need to mention to you guys that there are some requirements for this, obviously stat-wise. First of all, you obviously need 70 agility just to get into the Saradomin portion of God Wars, but on top of that, I would recommend being max melee or at least 95 plus if you're trying to pursue this method, because the point of this is to get faster kills. Regardless of whether or not you're maxed, using full Bandos with this kind of strategy will be more effective than using Varix at your level. But still, the higher level you are, the better. I feel like that's kind of goes without saying, but I know some people are probably going to ask. So as you can see, there are some fairly high-end requirements for the gear for this to work. This is what I've used, and I'm sure you can replace all of it with lower-end armors. Like, you can probably replace all of what I'm wearing now by just wearing the Guthan's armor, and I'm sure that would be fine. But at that point, it might actually be slower than Varix, so that's probably not worth doing. So as you can see, first of all, we have a Serp Helm. We've actually debated just bringing a Guthan's Helm instead of this because it might not actually be worth it to have the Serp Helm since it is only a little bit different in defensive bonus. However, it does have a higher crush bonus than the Guthan's Helm, which Saradomin or Commander Zilly attacks with a crush attack, which is why we kept it on. Fire Cape, I feel like, is fairly obvious. The Fury over the Amulet of Torture when you are tanking. However, when you are attacking, you'll have all this gear that I have in my inventory on. You need to bring all these switches with you as well, but I'll go over that in a second. The Holy Blessing is double useful as, first of all, it is a +1 prayer bonus, and then on top of that, it is also a Saradomin item. The Staff of the Dead is something that you cannot go without for this method. As of right now, I'm sure in the future people will improve on this method and figure out how to get Saradomin to use its mage attack every time. And if you can figure out how to do that, please, first of all, let me know, because I'd actually be really interested in seeing if anyone can do that. I will keep trying to do it myself as well, but you need it for the spec. That's why there's no spec weapon other than the Toxic Staff. You don't need a Toxic Staff, I just like it because it looks better, but if you are bringing one, make sure it's uncharged, otherwise you'll be wasting money on scales. The Bandos, just because max strength for more damage, I feel like that's fairly self-explanatory. And the Elysian, obviously, if you have an Elysian, you should probably use it. However, it might actually be better for this method to use a DFS. I haven't tested it enough to know, but a DFS is definitely usable. One of the members in this team, as you'll see in the video, did use a DFS, and he had no problems at all. And I was actually able to tank using this method, actually while wielding a Dragon Defender. Although that's not recommended because the minions will deal a lot of damage to you, even if the boss is not. So definitely some kind of shield. If you don't have an Elysian or a DFS, a Crystal Shield should work fine. It doesn't really make that big of a difference. Barrow's Gloves for fairly obvious reasons. Prims because max strength. You might be able to sub these out with Bandos Boots, although I wouldn't recommend it, as the whole point of this is to get faster kills, and the Ring of Suffering for the extra defensive bonuses. So now, moving on to the gear in the inventory, the Guthan's is for healing, fairly obvious, that's fairly standard at most bosses, and the switches right here, this is what you're going to be wearing when you're not the tank. When you're the tank, you need to have this gear on because you want to have as high of defensive bonus as you can. But when you're attacking, you're just wearing max strength gear, using a whip, and it's just like attacking Bandos. All you do is literally click the boss and flick your piety. It's super, super easy. The reason for the Warrior Ring over the B Ring is because Commander Zilly actually has a higher defense level and higher defensive stats than General Grador, and a Warrior Ring is better than a Berserker Ring in General Grador, so it makes sense that you should use it here since it has higher defensive bonuses. So the inventory is also fairly self-explanatory. Super combats for getting your stats up, and then restores. And I only bring 2 brews because I actually didn't really have any problem tanking this at all. If you guys are a little bit more nervous, you can swap out some of the restores or the super combats for brews for your first few trips, but you'll actually quickly realize that this is easier than tanking Bandos or Zami, just because the damage is a lot more predictable. It just requires a few more clicks. It's not that difficult. So I'm going to take you guys over to the actual clips now, and I'll try and slow things down and explain them for you. Also, reason for Rune Pouch, If you aren't the alker, you're going to have to also have a tab, but as I was the person alking, I had, oh yeah, I know I can't equip a rune pouch, thank you. I had Natures and Fires in here before, and I also had Law Runes in here. The Law Runes, I could just teleport, well I'm on Lunars now, but I could just teleport straight to Trollheim, and when the trip was over, I can just teleport straight out and then just homeport out. So if you are using Potshare, which you should be using for this method, you'll still need a rune pouch, but you'll just also need another teleport tab with you. Some of you guys might actually be wondering at this point, you know, why is it, Dave, that you need to all have the tank gear and everything like that? Well, the reason for it is because you're actually doing a rotating tank method. So basically, you have 3 people in your team. You need 3 people to do it the way that I'm showing you in this video. You all bring all of the gear that I showed you, and then one person tanks first, then someone else tanks the next kill, then the third person tanks the third kill, and then it's back to the first person. That way, everyone will always have a Staff of the Dead spec, and they'll always have 50% reduced melee damage. So we're going to jump right into the first kill of the trip right here, and as you can see, the first thing I do is use my Staff of the Dead spec, walk in the room, obviously I'm tanking first, make sure you have your Prey Mage on, and then immediately hit the boss and walk under it. This is very similar to the Bandos and Zami tanking strategies that have been out for a long time, where you hit the boss 2 times and walk under it, except at Zilliana, since she attacks at a speed of darts, you want to make sure that you walk under after 1 hit, otherwise you'll be taking too much damage. The main goal is to try and get Zilliana to jump in the air just like that, so you can occasionally get some free hits, like so, and you really don't take a whole lot of damage. When she's meleeing you, you'll take a little bit of damage, but the max hit gets reduced to a 15 because of the Staff of the Dead, and her accuracy is actually quite low. So as you can see here, the kills go pretty quickly, and I'm going to show you guys another example right now. So here's another example to show you guys just exactly how these kills go. You hit the boss first, use your Staff of the Dead spec, walk under just like last time, but this is more of a demonstration of just how much damage you can actually do as the tank. So as you can see here, I'm actually going under the boss at the perfect time so that she actually isn't even swinging at me. Now I don't know if this is manipulatable or not, something I want to figure out in the near future, or if it's just random whether she melees you or uses a mage attack. But when she uses the mage attack, you can actually see I'm taking no damage, my health is still basically full, and I get to actually deal a lot of damage with the Staff of the Dead. Now that's one of the plus sides of this method, is you basically always have 3 people attacking it, and max strength is on average more damage than Varix. There's a Reddit thread that I'll try and remember to link you guys to. But yeah, when the tank does get the kill, cool things happen. Cue reaction. Now I'm sure there's still a lot of people sitting there thinking, you know what, Dave, it's just because you have the Ellie, that's why you're not taking any damage. But I'm going to show you guys right here, it's my friend's turn to tank, and he is actually using a DFS. The other 2 people, myself included in our group, did have Ellies, but this clearly works just fine with the DFS. Keep in mind he wasn't full health at the start of the kill because, you know, had a little bit of a rough time healing up on minions. You guys know how Guthans works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But as you can see, he's doing just fine. He's not taking a lot of damage, and he actually stands under a little bit longer than I do because he doesn't always go for the free hits. He tried to get one there and was a little bit slow, but he still got it off. So you guys can see it does work with the DFS. You don't need an Ellie to do this. It does help, but you don't need it. Also, this was about 10 seconds longer than our average kill, but still faster than Varix. So here's an example of the thing I keep telling you guys about. The free hit mechanic. Basically, if you hit Saradomin and walk back onto the boss fast enough while she's in the middle of using her magic attack, this is her beginning her magic attack, which is why I don't even get hit there, but if you use it right here, in the middle of the encounter, or in the middle of the animation rather, you'll be able to walk back under without actually taking damage, which is partially what makes this method just so appealing. So I'm going to find another example and show it to you guys again in the same kill. I didn't even have to look very long because the next hit right there was another free hit, and that was off the same mage animation that I actually managed to get 2 free hits. So this is kind of the difference between if you're doing this method just to try and get slightly faster kills or extremely faster kills, because if you stand under the boss longer, obviously you'll be doing less DPS, but you still won't be taking a lot of damage. If you do what I do right here and try and go for those free hits, the boss will die even faster. So I hope this guide helped you out. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to let me know. I understand that this is a really different method than what a lot of people are used to, but from my testing, it definitely seems like it's better than Varix. I'll try to get you guys some exact numbers in the video coming up soon, but I'm sure someone else will probably beat me to it, honestly. I'm going to try and get this up as soon as I possibly can for you guys, and I would strongly encourage all of you to test it. Let me know if you find any differences. Maybe you might find that DFS is actually stronger than an Ellie. You might find that there's a way to tank it with the Dragon Defender, because if you manage to get Zilliana to jump up for every attack, which I'm sure someone will figure out how to do soon, then you can ideally take no damage while tanking Saradomin, and you'll get faster kills as well. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure you like it up, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. I'm going to go ahead and leave a couple links on the screen to my main series and everything like that, probably in this black area down here because there's nothing going on right here since this is the edge of the map. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.